Hi guys, and welcome to episode 41 of the Yoshi and Lucy Knits podcast. My name is Denise, and you can find me on social media. I'm Yoshi and Lucy Knits on Instagram, on Ravelry, Canary Song, and I also have a hand-dyed yarn business you can find on Etsy as Yoshi and Lucy. So I'm back and recording another podcast. It's been a while because I haven't really been knitting the last few months, and I wanted to wait until I had something to talk about before I recorded. So Rhinebeck was last week, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the episode. I have some FOs, some whips, and I'll talk about some shop related news at the end. So since Rhinebeck was almost here, I had a sweater on the needles for like the last 6 months or so that I wanted to complete for Rhinebeck. So that really motivated me to pick it up again. I didn't knit on it in the summer just because I haven't really been knitting in the summer. It's usually I just don't even feel like knitting when it gets too hot. So I kind of abandoned a bunch of my projects. But I finished this sweater, and I wore it at Rhinebeck on the Saturday I was there. So this is the Easy One by Joji Locatelli, and it's pretty much a straightforward knit. It does have this nice sort of edging on here. I got like lint in my mouth. To give it this edging, it looks like a nice detail on the shoulders. And I knit this out of my yarn in the colorway Florence. It's like a variegated colorway that I just came up with kind of accidentally, or it was just like an experiment. I didn't know how it was gonna come out. So yeah, it took me a long time. And the sleeves weren't that bad to get to the sleeve. Once I got to the sleeves, I felt like I was flying through them. People talk about sweater sleeve island, and that kind of drags on, but I don't know, I didn't have a problem with it. I did have an issue with the collar, so I knit the so after I finished the body and the sleeves, you're supposed to knit a collar for like about 6 or 7 rows, and you just pick up the stitches along the edge and just knit. And I bound off, and it couldn't fit over my head, so I had to rip out, and I picked up more stitches. I think I did the largest size, and now it fits. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. I really don't like picking up stitches. I feel like I don't do it evenly, even though I try. You know, I start picking up the stitches, and then I get to the end, and it turns out I don't have enough space. So I have to rip back again and do it that way. For the bind off, she just says to knit a stretchy bind off, or she says bind off loosely. So I kind of just Googled how to do a loose bind off, because my standard bind off is a little bit too tight. Like I feel it. I did a standard bind off on my cuffs, and I could feel that there's not much give on them, and on the bottom too. There's not much give. So I wanted to make sure with the collar that I'll be able to put it over my big head. So yeah, I wore it at Rhinebeck, and I got quite a few compliments, so that was cool. It's just exciting to actually wear a sweater at Rhinebeck. My first Rhinebeck, I didn't have a sweater. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I do have an issue with alternating skeins. I need to do some research on how to do a better job at that, because I And you could see it right here. So this is where I alternated skeins, and I got a line on the bottom of the sweater. But yeah, because you know, with hand-dyed yarn, you gotta have to alternate skeins unless you're okay with having color variations. Because even if you dye something in the same pot or the same pan, it doesn't always take the color evenly. So that's why I recommend the alternate skeins with hand-dyed yarn. But I have a line on the back of the sweater, so now I gotta, next time I knit a sweater with hand-dyed yarn, I gotta do some research on how to alternate skeins. But I don't know, I'm pretty satisfied with it. This is my first sweater for myself in probably 8 years or more. I don't really knit garments, but now it seems like everybody's knitting garments. And when I saw this sweater, I thought that would be it would be a good first sweater, or it'd be a good sweater to get back into sweater knitting. So it did, I would be honest, it did get boring when I was knitting the body, because I was just knitting in stockinette round and around and in figure and weight, so that took a long time because I'm not the fastest knitter. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the fit. It does, I did a gauge swatch, and from looking at like the sample sweater and other people's sweaters, it tends to be a little bit loose because there's no shaping at all. It's just straight. And so I was afraid, I don't know if I should have knitted my size or another size, because it was gonna be too baggy. I don't like sweaters that are too baggy. You know, I just don't want to wear, like, feel like I'm wearing a sack. But it didn't end up being that way. I checked my gauge swatch and it matched, so I don't know what happened there. Did my gauge change at some point? I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy with the fit, and I'm happy that I have a sweater, and I'm hoping to cast on another one. Maybe some color work, because I saw so many beautiful color work sweaters at Rhinebeck. But I'm a little bit nervous with knitting color work, just because I have a tension issue. I need to figure out how to alternate skeins, you know, knit with my left hand, because the last time I knit color work, I would drop one strand, pick up the other with my right hand, and it took forever, and I had tension issues throughout. So I don't know. If you have any recommendations for a first time or beginner's color work sweater, I'm all for it. So just let me know. So yeah, that's my FO for the episode. As for whips, I haven't touched this one. I don't know if I know I showed it the last podcast. I don't know if I got very far. So this is my Fading Point by Hohi Locatelli. I haven't touched this in a long time. So I just have a problem with, I mean, it's a fun knit, but the problem I have with it is the is the lace. I messed up. I think I was at even the beginning section for the lace. I messed up and I didn't have enough stitches. I think when I started the lace part, I didn't have enough stitches and I didn't realize it. And then obviously in lace, you're gonna figure out that you don't have enough stitches and the lace is gonna be all messed up. So I had to rip it out, add more stitches, blah, blah, blah. So, and I think I had the same problem with the second lace section. So I just haven't been working on it lately. And it's just been sitting here while I do some other projects. Yeah, I'm on the third color now. So it's just a purple gradient that I'm doing. So here are the other two. The first two these two I finished already. So it's a very, very subtle fade. and then it's gonna be 2 more colors after this. And I'm knitting it in my yarn, and it's a fade kit I have in the shop on singles. And yeah, I'm still on the first section, and this is a big shawl, so who knows when I'm gonna get back to it. I'm kind of not in the mood to figure out lace at the moment, so I haven't picked it up. So yeah. Okay, so I think this is my second whip. I still have another one to show. So here are my sock projects that I'm doing. I'm trying to knit down my Knit Picks socks. So I'm just doing just a plain sock with an afterthought heel on the bottom. There you see is the afterthought heel. Thought I had another. I have another sock and I don't know where it is. Somewhere that I already completed, but I still have to add the heels. So this colorway is Surfs Up. It's an old Knit Picks colorway. I think I got it a few years ago. So yeah, I haven't touched this in like over a month. Maybe I'll knit a little bit on it. I know I finished the first sock. I just don't know where it is. I thought it was in this bag, but I must have changed it over to something else. Yeah, so I have it in my Darn Yarn MN bag. It has a little peekaboo pouch in the back so you can see. It's my Wonder Woman bag. This is like my go-to sock bag right now. And yeah, I can see that I I got some dye on here in the corner. It's this bag can get dirty, you know, with the color. Maybe I'll wash it soon. So my third whip and what I've been working on the last few weeks is my soft curls shawl, and I'm in the middle of a row, unfortunately. So this is Soft Curls by Joji Locatelli. Again, another Joji project, and it is a 4 skein fade, and it's just a short roll shawl, and you just fade each color, and it has a little bit of this I guess this is lace in between each section. So it's a pretty easy, straightforward project, and I really like how these colors are fading. It's a very bright shawl. So yeah, it's a 4 skein fade that I have in the store. I'm almost done with fading. Right now I'm fading the last 2 colors. This is Pinkie Pie and this is Berry Twist. And I'm like almost like two rows away from just knitting with this color. So I'm at the end stretch. Hopefully these rows are getting really long. I'm up to like over 500 stitches. So I try to work on this every day, a little bit every day when I'm working. I'm waiting for yarn to set, you know, but now with the rows getting so long that it takes me a few tries to get through a row. So yeah, I have some kits in these ready to ship. I've made these. So I'm knitting the base I'm knitting out of is my Inez base, which is just 100% merino, and it's a 3-ply, and it's very squishy. And it's very soft yarn. So yeah, it's a very girly very girly shawl, but you kind of need that every once in a while. So yeah, that's all my whips. For some shop news, I'll show you guys some new colorways I come up with. So I decided to do some tonals. So my first tonal is Elixir. It's like a forest greeny, slightly variegated green, and I came up with this for the Elton cardigan by Joji Locatelli again. And so it's knit in figuring and mohair. So here's the mohair one. I put these as a dye to order, but I have some skeins lying around just because I obviously had to photograph them, so I had to dye it. So here is it on mohair. It's really, I like how it comes out on mohair. It's like a halo-y color to it. And this is on DK. And then I did like a copper colorway. This is Penny. Here it is on Isabel. And on mohair it comes out slightly lighter, even though it's the same dye concentration. It just comes out that way. So yeah. And this colorway actually dyed a few like months ago, and I never put it in the shop. But this is Royal, which is tonal purple. It's really nice. I have a sample knitter knitting this as a sweater for me, so I'm very excited to get that back. In the shop, I dyed up some Christmas colorways that I haven't had in the shop since a year ago. So this was my most popular one from last year, and this is Yolog. So this is on Stellina. I think it really looks really nice on Stellina, and here it is on Isabel. And actually, I knit a pair of these last year, but I haven't worn them yet, so here they are. I took some photos just to put it on my Instagram, so people have an idea how it knits up. And also some Christmas speckles. I just have this on the Stellina base. So it's just a natural base, lightly speckled with red and green. So yeah. So just to talk about like what's been going on with the store. I know I haven't had like regular shop updates in like the last few months, because I've been doing tons of wholesale. So I'm working with a yarn rep, and he's like a vendor that goes to shops. He has relationships with yarn stores, mostly in the Midwest. And he decided he wanted to represent me, so we just went as like, let's see, as a trial to see if people want to buy my yarn. So this past summer he just drove around a bunch of stores, and it's been going really well. Like people have been responding positively to my yarn. I've been placing lots of orders. So that's what I've been concentrating on the last few months. I tried to put in some yarn whenever I have the time, but most of the concentration of my work has been in doing wholesale. I do have a trunk show coming up at Nitty City in Manhattan on November 17th. So I'm hoping to bring, those colorways and dye up some more that haven't been in the shop in a while. So if you're in the area, you should come and check it out. So I'm just gonna briefly recap Rhinebeck. I didn't take as many photos or video as I was hoping, but Ryan, my boyfriend, came with me, so he took some video, and I'll put some clips at the end. So this was his first Rhinebeck, and this was my second. So we decided to take a bus up. String Thing Studios in Brooklyn organized some buses for us, which was like the easiest way for us to get there, instead of taking Amtrak and then taking a cab. To get there, the bus left us right there in front of entrance. So we woke up super early at like 5 in the morning for the bus to leave at 6:30. And we got there, and yeah, we had a good time. This was Ryan's first time there, and how I described it to him before we went was that it was like Comic-Con for knitters. That was the only description I could come up with. And I guess, I mean, he told me that it didn't feel like it was a Comic-Con. He thought it was going to be like more like a trade show, that it was going to be like for knitters but also people in industry, but it's not really like that. And he was surprised that there was so much food there, you know, and I told him we had to go get some donuts, so we waited online for about an hour to get the donuts, because they were being made as they were serving people. And at some point I went to the bathroom and it started to rain, and when I came back I asked him, did the line move? And he's like, nobody moved. And someone behind me was like, no, nobody moved, we all want donuts. So yeah, so that happened. And then we got there's also another stand next to the donuts that sell maple products. It wasn't that as busy, but we got some maple con candy, and actually had like pieces of maple in the con candy, so that was really good. And yeah, we just walked around the whole fair and looked at all the vendors, and we went into the stalls to look at the sheep and pet the sheep, and we watched some guy shear a sheep it was a ram, just by holding the horns, and he just kind of let him remove all the fluff. And then after that, we actually got to touch the fleece, and it was super warm, which I did not expect, but obviously it was on his body, so it's gonna be warm, and it was very oily, and so that was like a weird feeling, but that was really cool to see that. And of course they had the frisbee dogs again, and we watched that. Ryan was excited about that. And then around like 1 o'clock they did the Podcaster Meetup, so we went there, and we got to see a bunch of people. I was very surprised that some people recognized me. That didn't happen 2 years ago. So that was like a surprise, that people were like, oh, Denise, like, I was like, oh yeah, that's who I am. And yeah, that was nice to just see everybody, talk to everybody, to see all the beautiful sweaters. Like, everybody's like crazy about color work. So that was cool. There's a bunch of sweaters. That was crazy. So yeah, it definitely makes me want to cast on it makes me want to cast on a colorwork sweater soon. So I'll look out for that. I gotta figure out what colors I'm gonna do. And yeah, so that was our experience at Rhinebeck. I really had fun, especially showing Ryan around and getting him to see more of the fiber community. And I definitely want to go back next year, hoping to do the whole weekend, because since we had to, you know, drive up there, or we didn't drive, but we took the bus, it was so, we were so tired, like by like 3 or 4 o'clock, we were just like, we wanted to just like hang out and like go to bed and stuff, because it was a really early day. So I didn't get to see as many people I was hoping to. There's just so many people there. And so I think if I go the whole weekend and go on Friday, I will be able to absorb the event better instead of just running in there and then having to leave at the end of the day. So I hope that happens next year. So yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I'm gonna try to do monthly podcasts now. Now that I'm actually knitting more, so I have some more things to show you guys and not have such huge breaks in between episodes. So sorry about that. So yeah, let me know if you guys went to Rhinebeck and what you got. I did not buy anything. I checked out a bunch of stalls, and I don't know, I didn't have a plan to buy yarn. Like I want to be more conscious as to what I buy. Like if I buy something, it's going to be for a project, and I didn't plan that before. Probably did that on purpose, so I didn't end up buying too much yarn. So yeah, I was more there just for the experience. So, but I think now with Vogue Knitting Live in January, I think I'm definitely going to buy yarn there, because there's a few vendors that weren't at Rhinebeck that I really want to see their yarn at Vogue Knitting Live. So yeah, no haul to show you, sorry. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.